pockets of resistance all around the planet. We've been fighting a long time. If you're listening to this, you are not alone. You are the resistance.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
More than 100 years ago, Rudolf Steiner wrote the following: "In the future, we will eliminate the soul with medicine. Under the pretext of a healthy point of view, there will be a by which the human body will be treated as soon as possible directly at birth, so that the human being cannot develop the thought of the existence of the soul and spirit. Two materialistic doctors will be entrusted the task of removing the soul of humanity. As today people are against this disease or that disease, so in the future children will be vaccinated with a substance that can be produced precisely in such a way that people, thanks to this vaccination, will be immune to being subject to the madness of spiritual life. He would be extremely smart, but he would not develop a conscience, and that is the true goal of some materialistic circles. With such a you can easily make the etheric body loose in the physical body. Once the etheric body is detached, the relationship between the universe and the etheric body would become extremely unstable, and man would become an automaton. For the physical body of man must be polished on this earth by spiritual will. So comes a kind of Ahrimanic force. Man can no longer get rid of a given materialistic feeling. He becomes materialistic of constitution and can no longer rise to the spiritual.
So let's take this now. This is a quote relating to Secret Brotherhoods from Rudolf Steiner. The book is called Secret Brotherhoods and the Mystery of the Human Double. I highly recommend this group of lectures, which took place shortly before Steiner died. Let's start. Now, he talks about criminal esoteric activities that take place in some of these lesser or left groups. Such things have indeed been going on behind the scenes of external events during current decades. The purpose was firstly to present certain groups of people with the secret of how to dominate great masses. So setting up political figures to dominate great masses. Secrets being given out by these brothers of the left for this. So again, that's secret society activity behind the political curtain. Okay. As I indicated, first of all, the secret involves knowing how the masses who have little interest in external affairs, but who have budding spiritual capacities, can serve in preparing the sixth post-Atlantean epoch, can be thoroughly dominated, and how such domination can be put into the hands of some few individuals. Pretty interesting. This was the first purpose. The other is something that will play a great part in the future, namely to get those secrets into one's clutches for the purpose of turning in a certain direction the circumstances that have to do with the processes of disease and procreation. So these are mystery schools on the left side giving out advanced information relating to disease and procreation. Remember, disease X and gender X. That's how we started. I've already mentioned these things to a number of people. Certain circles in this materialistic age are striving to paralyze and make impossible all of humanity's spiritual development through causing people by their very temperament and character to reject everything spiritual and regard it as nonsense. That's the spiritual materialism, scientific materialism. A stream of this kind, and it is already noticeable in some isolated individuals, will become deeper and deeper. A longing will arise for there to be a general opinion, which is this: whatever is spiritual, whatever is of the spirit, is nonsense. This is what they're trying to achieve. Endeavors to achieve this will be made by bringing out remedies to be administered by inoculation. Just as inoculations have been developed as a protection against disease, only these inoculations will influence the human body in a way that will make it refuse to give a home to the spiritual inclinations of the soul. It's talking about getting injected with something which changes your attitude towards spiritual ideas. One more quote on this. People will be inoculated against the inclination to entertain spiritual ideas, Endeavors in this direction will be made. Inoculations will be tested that already in childhood will make people lose any urge for spiritual life. You see where the transhumanism is heading. This is Steiner writing in 1923. That's 95 years ago. And we have all this hubbub now. I mean, he's talking about being inoculated against wanting spiritual ideas. Somehow they come up with a physical remedy for that, and everyone has to take it.
In a way that the spirits of light can continue to be active in them. They will seek to push these in the wrong direction. I have already spoken of one such wrong direction, which is about as paradoxical as is possible. I have pointed out that while human bodies will develop in such a way that certain spiritualities can find room in them, the materialistic bent, which will spread more and more under the guidance of the spirits of darkness, will work against this and combat it by physical means. I have told you that the spirits of darkness are going to inspire their human hosts, in whom they will be dwelling, to find a vaccine that will drive all inclination toward spirituality out of people's souls when they are still very young. And this will happen in a roundabout way through the living body. Today, bodies are vaccinated against one thing and another. In future, children will be vaccinated with a substance which it will certainly be possible to produce, and this will make them immune so that they do not develop foolish inclinations connected with spiritual life. Foolish here, of course, in the eyes of materialism.
Tell me, I think people are curious how a guy, you've sold how many records?
28 million.
And made millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Call my wife. Yo, your dad, about to make it happen. What you mean, my nigga? I'm about to make it rapping. Today I met this cat. He said his name was Damien. He thinks that we're a lot alike and wants to be my friend.
How do you end up in here?
I think everyone who's watching knows how I ended up in here.
I sold my soul to the devil, and the price was cheap. And yo, it's cold on this level, cause it's twice as deep. But you don't hear me. Ignorance is bliss, and so on. Sometimes it's better to be thought dumb. Shall I go on? I only know how to speak the truth, you know what I'm saying? So I got a little short joint I'm gonna hit you with, you know what I'm saying? And it basically reflects on my relationship with the industry. This is what it is. Often, my words fall on deaf ears. Motherfuckers be listening, but don't hear. Is deep, but you don't hear me. Ignorance is bliss, and so on. Sometimes it's better to be thought dumb. Shall I go on? Talking to a nigga, he be sitting right here. I be like, where you going? Nigga be like, yeah. Yo, on the real, with the deal, it's a mystery. How is it I can live and make history? If you don't see it, then it wasn't meant for you to see. If you don't see it, then it wasn't meant for you to see. If you wasn't born with it, it wasn't meant for you to be.
I'm pretty sure they do. Anytime you get it, I'm pretty sure they do. You know, there's how do I end up in here?
Down in the cell with a soul can't dwell. This is hell. Call me the devil and give me the key. But can't be worse. worse than the curse that was given to me. It's what I live for. You take away that, and I'm gone.
Artists be too scared to stand up for something. They scared to lose their fucking house. Or they scared to lose their record deal. Or they scared to lose their record deal. Or they scared to lose their record deal. I sold my soul to the devil. I know it's a crappy deal. Lisa came with a few toys like a Happy Meal.
Yeah.
So here go my single, dog. Radio needs this. They said you can rap about anything except for Jesus. That means guns, sex, lies, videotape. But if I talk about God, my record won't get played.
Yeah, I mean, I released a gospel record when I was 15 because I grew up in, a household where all I ever did was listen to gospel music, and my parents are both traveling ministers, and so I kind of sang about, what was going on in my life at 15, and that's how I got introduced to the music industry. I swear I wanted to be like the Amy Grant of music. Yeah.
But if I talk about God, my record won't get played.
But it didn't work out, and so I sold my soul to the devil.
He seems to blast his daughter's pop star lifestyle, saying that everything she's doing is wrong and satanic. The latest is that he's been playing a video during his church sermons that apparently highlights Katie as the devil child, whatever that is. First, in the sermon, he urges his congregation to pray for Katie because she's being corrupted by devil worship and terrorism.
Just arrived live on the scene of a murder that happened late last night. And although details are very sketchy, we do know that one of the shooting victims is rapper Snoop Doggy Dogg.
It's too late for praying. Hold up. Her voice spoke to me and it slowly started saying,
bring your lifestyle to me, I make it better.
And how long will I live?
Eternal life and forever.
Or will I be the G that I was?
I make your life better than you can imagine or even dreamed of. So relax your soul, let me take control. Close your eyes, my soul.
My eyes are closed. Murder was the case that they gave me. I'm fresh up out my coma. I got my mama and my daddy and my homies in my corner. It's gonna take a miracle, ain't safe for me to walk again and talk again. But anyway, I get fronted some keys to get back on my feet. And everything that said came to reality. Living like a baller low, I'm having money and blowing hella smoke. I bought my mama a Benz, my boo-boo a Jag, and now I'm rolling in the nitrous AL Dog Ray.
Just remember who changed your mind, cause when you start set tripping, that ass is mine.
Indeed, her great proceed to smoke. Never have a want, never have a need. They say I'm greedy, but I still want more, cause my eyes want to journey some more. Really though.
Check it out.
Murder was the case that they gave me.
Why do you still do it? Why are you still out here?
Well, it goes back to the destiny thing. I made a bargain with it. A long time ago, and I'm holding up my end.
Remember who changed your mind, cause when you start set tripping, that ass is mine.
What was your bargain?
To get where I am now.
Selling my soul for material wishes, fast cars and bitches. Wishing I lived my life a legend, immortalized in pictures.
Should I ask who you made the bargain with?
With the chief commander.
On this earth?
And this earth, and then in a world we can't see.
You ever look at music that you've written, look back at it and say, whoa, that surprised me?
I used to. I don't do that anymore. I don't know how I got to write those songs.
Bring your lifestyle to me, I make it better.
What do you mean you don't know how?
Well, those early songs were like almost magically written.
A lesson about when to leave things well enough alone. Website BuzzFeed put up some pictures of Beyonce from the Super Bowl halftime show that aren't exactly flattering, so her people sent a letter to the website saying take the pictures down. Instead, BuzzFeed created a gallery showing those very pictures. First of all, there's no pictures that don't where Beyonce looks bad. Not a single one.
Exactly.
She looks great. Give me a break.
And clearly the PR person did not understand BuzzFeed.
Yeah, obviously. You do not send that kind of letter to BuzzFeed and expect not to pay for it later.
It's just daring them to do it.
Exactly. But she still looks good.
Help me, somebody save me. Lost and crazy, scared to drop a seed, hoping I ain't curse my babies. Maybe now niggas feel me now, picture my pain, embrace my words, make the world change. And still I smile, nigga.
And now a moment of silence.
So I want you to turn around and face me. Close your eyes and come present in your body. Yeah. Give yourself permission to know the truth. Give yourself permission to know the truth. What are you holding on to?
My soul, my soul.
Yes. Yes. Let it come out. Let that come all the way out. Let's tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. I sold my soul for what? How about a house, a car, a vacation? What did you sell your soul for?
I sold my soul to the devil. I know it's a crappy deal. Pizza came with a few toys like a Happy Meal.
Selling my soul for material wishes, fast cars and big.
I made a bargain with it to get where I am now.
It was Satanism. X revealed himself as a liar after sporting a cap with the writing Team Satan 666 over it.
But it didn't work out, and so I sold my soul to the devil.
I sold my soul to have a life that I wanted, that I never had.
Yeah. A material life. Yeah. Let that come out. Come on, you're doing so good. Let it come all the way out.
You know, you'll sacrifice your own mom. Some people get to that point that low that they'll do anything to get where they gotta go. I don't care. You talking about thousands of millions of dollars? Where do I gotta sign?
As far as this music stuff, I won't be doing this music stuff anymore. I started this because this was my dream. And, you know, I wanted to make sure I could get me and my kids out the hood. It's always been my passion to rap. A while ago, I had signed a contract and I didn't know nothing about the business or this game out here. It just right here, I'm realizing that I signed my soul. I sold my soul to the devil. I signed myself to the devil.
Yes.
I don't even own myself no more. I sold my soul to the motherfucking devil, and I done prayed. Yes. I prayed and I prayed and I prayed. You know, it's just like, I don't know if God can get me out of this, you know, and it's just like to the point where I don't even know, like I can't. I just want to say I'm sorry to my fans. I know y'all love me. I know y'all believe in me, but I can't.
Okay, guys, so you see the video. Alright, obviously the girl's going through it. She did something that she regrets now. She did it thinking, oh, it's gonna be great, you know, I get the riches, I get the fame, you know, my name and lights, all that good stuff. I'm gonna get my family out the hood. You know, she's talking about her kids, and like that was what she was doing it for. Like a lot of people do it for that. And for some people to get out of those predicaments, they will do whatever. Like, that's really selling your soul. When you get to the point where you'll do whatever, when you'll kill your own brother, your own sister, you know, you'll sacrifice your own mom. Some people get to that point that low that they'll do anything to get where they gotta go.
So you see a lot of people throwing that out. And that 666 sign, you have to learn what that is. It's just not an okay, oh, that's okay. No, that sign means a whole lot
let
more.
it come out. This is a major breakthrough for Miss Charisse, recognizing that she gave up any chance at internal happiness in order to get external validation, and that is never the answer. But today, she can choose to be different.
You get to a level of success when you get 30, 40, 50,000 a show, you platinum, you running across the world. There's three different doors, right? There's three different ways to walk. There's to the left, there's to the right, and then there's straight. Straight is you're on your own. Let's see if you continue this success, young man. Let's see if it's all about your skills, young man. Let's really see that. And you went straight. To the right, I'm not sure if that's the homo shit right there. And then there's to the left, I'm not sure if there's some sacrifice shit going on right there. I'm not sure because I went straight. But I was offered these doors.
This is your offer? Some gay shit?
I don't, no. I'm saying that to the right when I seen it, those was those guys over there. You know what I'm saying? Those different people, which I have no problem with. You know, that's y'all. You feel me? And I just chose to go straight, and I haven't been platinum since.
I've been in show business since I was 14, and I've heard the stories of what happens, and I've seen these kinds of things play out in front of me.
Okay.
When I saw
when you say you heard the stories, what do you mean? What stories?
I mean, you see before, look, Mariah Carey made a $100 million deal, and 3 months later, she's all of a sudden mysteriously crazy. Or Martin Lawrence punches through, and he's waving a gun on the street screaming, "They're trying to kill me."
Yeah, we hear those stories.
And it always happens around the time of their career where it seems as though they're crossing over the next plateau.
Yeah. Would you say you lost your mind, sort of?
No.
Some of us are against the Illuminati, and we are against the Illuminati at our own detriment. When people are against the Illuminati, then they get punched in the face all the time. The press hates them. Nobody likes them. End quote.
Top dollar for your soul. Real niggas don't fold, straight soldier. Top dollar for your soul. Real niggas don't fold, straight soldier. Can't find peace on the streets, so the niggas get a beat. Fuck police. Niggas screaming, fuck them. Can't find peace on the streets, so the niggas get a beat. Fuck police.
Exactly. Dave Chappelle has never been a part of the Illuminati. They don't want him or me or people like us. But now, it's not necessary for us to stir up that hornet's nest unless we intend to get stung 1,000,000 times. I didn't understand that. They had to sting me 1,000,000 times. Right. I'm still not going to join, but I respect it a little more.
All right. According to police, Williams became agitated after he was unwilling to wait to be seated. Cat Williams posted bond a few hours after he was arrested. The victim suffered minor injuries. Police say they will continue to investigate the incident.
Hey, what's up, guys? Real quick, just want to touch on some things, kind of piggyback off what our conversation was the last time. Okay, we talked a lot about consciousness, guys. Consciousness. Why it's so important, like consciousness. Why some people get it, why some people don't. Why some people were touched. Why some people knew not to go take the walk and some people did not. You think it's by accident, guys? I'm trying to tell you, man, I'm trying to wake you guys up to what's really going on. Okay, so check this out. All right, I'm gonna have to read something to y'all real quick. I don't think I got a lot of record time on here, so I'm gonna try to make this quick. So, first off, consciousness, guys. We understand what consciousness is based off the last conversation we had. Okay, we talked a lot about how people are unaware or people are not cognizant of what's going on around them. Okay, consciousness and conscious. Okay, being awake, knowing, okay, what's going on, like being able to see in 4D, 5D, being able to see on another level, okay, than those around you. Everybody can't see. But this is not by accident, guys. This was intentionally done. Okay, they've been working on disconnecting people from their consciousness, from the spiritual world, from your spirit man. They've been working on this for centuries, guys. They've been working on this because they knew that they could control people by disconnecting you from the Most High. I had a video, guys. People were they were going back and forth on whether it was actually Bill Gates or somebody else, but they were talking about a medicine back then that would basically disconnect you from the God gene, or what they call it, or basically they were alluding to the pineal gland.
Excuse me, on the left over here, we have
individuals who are religious fundamentalists, religious fanatics, and this is the expression, RT-PCR, real-time PCR expression of the VMAT2 gene. Over here, we have individuals. So let me complete. So over here, we have individuals who are not particularly fundamentalist, not particularly religious, and you can see there's a much reduced expression of this particular gene, the VMAT2 gene. Another evidence that supports our hypothesis for the development of this approach.
What you see here is by spreading this virus, we're going to eliminate individuals from donning on a bomb vest and going into a market and blowing up the market.
So our hypothesis is that these are fanatical people, that they have overexpression of the VMAT2 gene, and that by vaccinating them against this, we'll eliminate this behavior. So we have some very, very remarkable data in this next slide. Here we have two brain scans. These are fMRIs. These are two different individuals with different levels of expression of VMAT2. On top is an individual who's a religious fanatic, an individual, and we've repeated this numerous times, that has high levels of VMAT2. Now, this individual down here who had low levels of the VMAT2 gene, this individual would self-describe as not particularly religious. In each case, these individuals were read a religious text. This individual lit up the right middle frontal gyrus, shown here, and that's a part of the brain that's associated with theory of mind. It's a part of the brain that has to do with intents and beliefs and desires. In marked contrast, here's an individual who would not particularly self-describe as religious, and when they're read a religious text, what you see is that this part of the brain called the anterior insula lights up. This is a part of the brain that's associated with disgust or displeasure on hearing something.
So you're suggesting I take a CT scan with me when I'm evaluating people to determine whether I put a bullet in their head?
So the data that I'm presenting here supports the concept that we're proposing, and I think that we would not propose to do CT scans or fMRIs on individuals out in the hinterlands of Afghanistan. The virus would immunize against this VMAT2 gene, and that would have the effect that you see here, which is it's essentially to turn a fanatic into a normal person. And we think that will have major effects in the Middle East.
How would you suggest that this is going to be dispersed? The aerosol?
Well, so the present plan and the tests that we've done so far have used respiratory viruses, such as flu or rhinoviruses, and we believe that that's a satisfactory way to get the exposure of the largest part of the population. Most of us, of course, have been exposed to both of those viruses, and we're quite confident that this will be a very successful approach.
This is fascinating. What's the name of this proposal?
Yeah, so the name of this project is FunVax, which is for religious fundamentalism.
And you have a proposal already?
The proposal has just been submitted, and I think that the data that I have shown you today would support the development of this project, and we think it has great promise.
Okay, the pineal gland is significant, guys. It's very significant. They don't talk about it. They don't even tell you really got one and stuff because they don't want you to know. The purpose behind it is to disconnect you from the spirit man. So, of course, they're not going to tell you about your spiritual capabilities. They're not going to tell you telepathic or clairvoyant or whatever. But understand this, guys. Remember the movie Sixth Sense, okay? Talked about the movie Sixth Sense. Sixth Sense talks about the kid having that sixth sense ability to see things. What do you say? I see dead people, right? I see dead people. People talk about opening up the third eye or whatever, okay, if the third eye's been closed. Now, a third eye's been closed on a lot of people. It's been calcified for different reasons. If you vibrating low, you have a low frequency, then there's a good chance that your pineal gland is closed. Okay, if you, like I said, eating meat and things like that, that can lead up to your pineal gland being closed. Drinking large quantities of milk and stuff, calcifying the bones, calcifying the pineal gland. Also, being around a lot of negativity, okay, negative programming and stuff like that, the frequencies and stuff that they put out, the stuff that they putting in some of the foods, okay. We talk about immunizations and things like that, and also taking a walk, okay. Now, the significance about that is that when you're born as a child, your pineal gland is untouched, it's unscathed, it's unfazed, okay. So your pineal gland is open, so you'll see things, okay. As a child, children see things. You might have heard of stories of kids pointing out things and talking of things that ain't there, okay, because they actually able to see into the spiritual world at that time when they're born. Like, they can see, but they can't communicate this stuff. But they often say they see things, and they talk to like invisible people, so to speak.
I want to tell you my secret now. I see dead people.
In your dreams? While you're awake? Dead people, like in graves and coffins?
Walking around like regular people. They don't see each other. They only see what they want to see. They don't know they're dead.
How often do you see them?
All the time. They're everywhere.
There's been a lot of people that have reported stuff like this from their children. This is a real thing, okay? So the importance with that, and what I'm trying to tell you, is that there's ways that people know about opening your pineal gland, okay? Now, if your pineal gland is closed and you open it and you're vibrating low, you could succumb, or the things, the negative things, the negative energies and entities that are around you will basically be visible to you. Kind of like that movie, The Shutter. Okay, Shutter had the guy, he was walking around, he had this this thing draped on his shoulders, like they didn't know, because they kept taking pictures. It was like a blurry image that was on all his photos. They couldn't tell what it was. Well, it was actually like a dead entity. It was an entity that was stuck on him, that been on him since he had did something bad.
The pictures you are about to see are real. They have not been retouched or manipulated. It is called spirit photography, an event in which images of the dead are caught on film.
Emotional energy can be communicated on film.
You mean ghosts?
Okay, but he didn't know that this thing was still draped up on him, but it was being visible in the photos. Okay, so what I'm saying is that your pineal gland is the eye into the spiritual world. It's the eye into the spiritual world. It's also the connection to the Most High, to God. Okay, it also gives you your godlike abilities. Okay, your telepathic abilities, your intuition, your consciousness, being able to feel the energies and things like that. All of that is connected through the pineal gland. The soul, okay? The soul, that's where the soul is pretty much seated, okay? Now, they've been working on trying to disconnect people from the soul and the spirit since forever, guys. Since forever. They've been doing it to people. They've been doing it through all kind of different methods. Okay, a lot of people don't know that, but they've been doing it. Now, they've went and took it a step further to try to start disconnecting people later on that haven't been disconnected or have not, that still have some type of spiritual connection or spiritual discernment. That's why some of us are conscious and we are able to see things like, man, that don't make sense. Okay, just like dude said, and I'm gonna have to tell you about the guy, this guy Rudolph, was it Rudolph Steiner? Okay, remember that name, Rudolph Steiner. We're going to touch on that. Okay, so guys, Rudolph Steiner. Okay, let me tell you about Rudolph Steiner. Rudolph Steiner was a Austrian occultist. Okay, where have we heard that name? Occultist, occult. Guys, the occult, you already know, they pretty much tied in with the secret societies. The shoot, back then, see, they wouldn't have necessarily called them the Illuminati and stuff back then. If they were, they tried to hide that stuff, but people that were involved in occultists and stuff like that, they had spiritual beliefs and things like that. These as much as we hate to admit it, they actually have been in the know. That's why they call themselves like Illuminati, the illuminated ones, because they feel like they know more about what, like the spirit and things like that and how everything works. That's why they so vested in taking your soul. Do you understand? They understand the value of your soul. A lot of people don't understand the value of their soul. Okay, I keep on telling y'all, the soul is a real thing. It's really important. It's something that you cannot put a price tag on. Okay, it's not worth anything that they offering you. Okay, your soul. Okay, let me get into this about Mr. Steiner though. Let me tell you about Mr. Steiner. Mr. Steiner was, like I said, he was an occultist, a philosopher. He was like very much embedded in like spiritual anthropology, anthroposophy, with roots in German and idealistic philosophy and theosophy. His ideas are largely pseudo-scientific. He was also prone to pseudo-history. Okay. What's significant about him, this is something he said back in like 100 years. It's like over 100 years ago, right? He said, in the future, we will eliminate the soul with medicine under the pretext of a healthy point of view. There will be a bleep, y'all know what I'm talking about, the walk, by which the human body will be treated as soon as possible, directly at birth, okay? So that the human being cannot develop thought of the existence of soul and spirit. Did y'all hear what I just said? In the future, I'm going to repeat it one more time. In the future, we will eliminate the soul with medicine. They want to eliminate the soul with medicine. Okay? How can you eliminate the soul with medicine? How can you eliminate the soul? Okay? Where is the soul? Soul is within you. But where do you have to go to get to the soul? Why are we seeing these guys? Talk to me. Anyway, we will eliminate the soul with medicine under the pretext of a healthy point of view. There will be a bleep by which the human body will be treated as soon as possible, directly at birth, so that the human being cannot develop the thought of the existence of soul and spirit. That's powerful, guys. That is a powerful little passage right there. Let me finish. To materialistic doctors will be entrusted with the task of removing the soul of humanity. Wow. That's big, right? That's big. As today, people are bleeped against this disease or that disease. So in the future, children will be bleeped with a substance that can be produced precisely in such a way that people, thanks to this bleep, will be immune to being subjected to the madness of spiritual life. He or she would be extremely smart, but he would not develop a conscience, and that is the true goal of some materialistic circles. Would not develop a conscience. Conscience. Okay, they spelled it C-O-N-S-C-I-E-N-C-E. Okay, you see how they like to play on words, guys. You know that, right? They like to play on words. So that's what they're saying they want to do. They said that back 100. This was 100 years ago. Maybe a little over 100 years ago, because the dude was born in like 1861. Died in 1925. Supposedly, allegedly. Okay. Now, what's also significant about this dude, this is something that they said about him. Okay. Early experience, spiritual experiences. Important, right? When Rudolph was 9 years old, Steiner believed that he saw the spirit of an aunt who had died in a far-off town, asking him to help her at a time when neither he nor his family knew of the woman's death. Steiner later related that as a child, he felt that one must carry the knowledge of the spiritual world within oneself after the fashion of geometry. One is permitted to know something which the mind alone, though is through its own power, experiences. In this feeling, I found the justification for the spiritual world that I experienced. I confirmed for myself by means of geometry the feeling that I must speak of a world which is not seen. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? Okay. I just told y'all, guys. He said it was like he was 9 years old. Guys, when I was young, I used to have reoccurring dreams, okay? And I believe everybody is... Souls are infinite, okay? I had reoccurring dreams that like I lived a past life, like I had been here before, guys. Remember, like Dr. Delbert Blair said, some of us souls are here for this last battle. Some of us have chosen to come back here for this battle, for these times, okay? Now, who and what or where, that is unknown. The significance of the times we spent, we may not know those experiences off the...
Rack, do you have any information on that?
There are many who go with the concept that the names that we use now are not their names that we used before, and I agree with that, because languages change, dominance changes, and the people make the language of whoever rules. Who has the ruler sets the rules. Mesopotamia 1, Sumer, underneath Iraq, Iran. You got the old Persian Empire and the Ottoman Empire still fighting back again. You have the Ptolemies fighting again. This other guy, I forget his name. That's a story that's been played out so long we should be tired of it. But because we have not learned, and because nothing new under the sun exists, and our sun is now becoming bifold, we must now go through that again. You must be able to remember what you forgot in order not to forget to remember again. Follow me?
I'm trying.
All right. Once you do that, then you think, this is it. This has never happened before. This is Iran. This is Iraq. This is America. This is Europe. So on and so forth again. Lies. There are no titles and names. The names change with the frequency of the brain. And we live the same dream, the same nightmare in many cases, until we learn to undo it. These same battles that were fought by the Ottoman Empire, the Persian Empire, the Sumerian Empire, Mesopotamia 1, Mesopotamia 2, Mesopotamia 3, back again, souls doing the same stupid thing all over again. I say it's stupid, and I should not use that because that's judgmental. I think it's a waste of time to do it. But what happened was, people are saying and bringing back ancestors. Ancestors will not return to you if they're in the higher heavens. Not even for you, because they've learned their lessons about physical reality, which is a conundrum. It is no such thing as physical reality. It's the lowest form of reality you can come from. And every time they got to stoop down and do that, they're lowering their vibrations. Rather that you raise yours. And the are saying, and so to get their attention, they already know you're here. And those that don't know you're here, you don't want them anyway. Now let me explain that. Many souls left bodies quickly in battle. Wherever you have great battles fought, there's hauntings that go on. Because the souls are taken out of the physical body like that. The spirit doesn't know what to do. The soul can't reclaim its consciousness with the sun, and so therefore it walks
forgetting that time is non-dimensional forever on that space because it doesn't know what happened. Every time you relive that in your consciousness, you're contacting them in the highest plane and giving them the courage and energy to relive it. Let them move on. Other than that, because of this draconic influence, that battle will be fought over and over and over again, because that's what the draconic reptiles want. Because if you get past that, you'll go to the 4th dimension, up to the 12th dimension. Only 7 dimensions in this part, but there seem to be infinite dimensions otherwise, and you're still caught up there. They can feed off of you, literally and figuratively, off of your blood empire, like a vampire, or physically misuse you, as they do, because you're allowing that. Progressed souls go through this incarnation, and then they learn that was a mistake. Mistake because they needed to know. Once you need to know, why do you have to keep reliving it? It is the draconic influence that causes us to relive these things, changes our minds, make us forget, and we still live the same battles, just to make that even more direct rather than figuratively. It is my understanding, limited as it may be, that from...
No, like, probably need to have seen my last video. The last two videos, we covered some real key information, man. We covered some key information, and a lot of what I'm gonna talk about today is gonna hinge on that. Okay. One of the big things, man. One of the big things that we gotta look at, man. And I've been saying this, and I'm gonna continue to say it because I think it's important. I think it's important because a lot of what we believe, guys, and a lot of what we think, a lot of what we know is based off perception. Okay, it's perception. Okay, is interpretation. Interpretation, perception, and faith. Okay, there's a lot of what we go off of. And also from teachings that we've had. Okay, a lot of us would not know what we know if we wasn't taught this stuff. Okay, and one of the things we got to remember, a lot of what we should know has not been taught. Okay, a lot of what we should know has not been taught to us. So you say, well, what do you mean by that, Ned? What I mean is that some things is intentionally left out of the conversation. Some things that we should know is intentionally left out for a purpose. Okay, it's a lot of information that we don't have, that we should have, that has been left out intentionally because of the power of the information. Like it says in the Bible, my people will perish for a lack of knowledge. That's true. Okay, but you can also perish because you have a bad interpretation. Okay, or a misinterpretation of something. Okay, or you could also perish for misinformation. You see what I'm saying? So misinterpretation, misinformation, you know, distorted information, okay, disinformation. Like, this type of stuff has been done intentionally, guys, because there's people or there's things that don't want us to grasp hold of the power. Okay, the power in the overall balance that we would have as people or beings, what that would mean, okay, for us, for the galaxy, for the spiritual world, for all of that, right? So let me break this down for you. A lot of what we perceive in the Bible is based off of the stories in the books, right? But what we fail to remember is that a lot of books and things from the Bible have been removed. Okay, they've been removed. Certain books have been put into the Bible. This was done intentionally. Okay, what I've told you guys in the past is that we have been misled, and we've been misled for a reason. Like I've told you as well, the Bible has been tampered with. it's been tampered with for a reason, okay? Certain beings have wanted to use the Bible for evil, okay? To use it to push their agendas and things that they want us to believe and want us to do, and to also make sure that we don't grasp hold of the full knowledge and the power, especially the power of the Spirit, right? So they have twisted things. They have misled us with some of the words and yes, basically some of the wording and stuff like that. They do things to purposely do that, right? So let's look at this, all right? We talk about the Nephilims and everything like that. We talk about them. We know a great deal about, hey, you know, the demons, okay, the Dracos, right? We've established at this point that they're here, okay? Make no mistake about it. They're here in this world, right? And I told you guys, they talk about hell, okay? Talk about hell. They talk about being in like basically burning in fire for your entire existence, eternity, right? I don't necessarily believe that is hell. I believe that is a perception of hell. And people believe that all of a sudden you're just going to fall into some pit and just start burning in hell. And that's what Satan wants for you, is to burn you in hell and fire forever. And like, that's going to do something for him. You see what I'm saying? Like,
King Solomon had a ring where he had power over, they're the lower astral level. Some are reptilian, some are just disincarnate shadow beings, some are fallen, any of the lowest fallen beings, and you could, that's where hell comes from. Like the concept of hell comes from. It's the lower fourth dimensional frequency. Now we have in our DNA the ability to conjure and call upon them if a ritual is done in the right way. So you can, why ritual is so important to them is because whenever you do a ritual, you're then reactivating the morphogenetic field of anybody else who's ever done that ritual before. So if you do a ritual, you're reenacting everybody else who's done it before. Then that you can, if you know what you're doing, you bring them into being. And each one of the 72 is defined as being used for a different thing. Some for money, some for fame, etc. So I don't know the exact details of each one, but I know that they're dukes, princes, kings of quote unquote hell. And then you bring them up, and then they can help you out for certain things. They can grant you certain things. I think it's where the genie in the lamp comes from, the concept. The jinn is still connected with that concept, but so Belial or Belial is the one that he was connecting with. Also, there's a just trying to think of the castle in Scotland, which was the Queen Mother's residence. It was also called
Holyrood.
No, not Holyrood.
Yeah,
no,
this is, I think a friend of mine went to that castle in way back in the 90s, which we talked off camera about, but don't all mention the name.
No, that's in Scotland as well, and it's directly connected by tunnels to Boleskine. And Crowley was a royal anyway, really.
Yeah, but what do you mean directly connected by tunnels to?
Certainly, I'm sure this goes for France and Germany and Switzerland and all of the external architecture of the castles and main Gothic cathedrals.
This is something you referred to in Canterbury.
That's one of the main ones, because so many energy grid lines are crossing there. They're connected. If you go underneath them, there's either portals or there's a tunnel system or a magnetic rail system that connects them all up. A lot of
magnetic rail?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. 4,000 Mark IV speed magnetic rail system that goes under.
What's the goal of you burning in hell? What is anybody or anything gonna get from that? Right? Just like people say, oh, well, we go to heaven after this. What's your idea of heaven? Right? So people think that heaven, they want to believe that heaven is just like this beautiful place where you're just like sitting up literally in the clouds. You're sitting up in the clouds and you're eating fruit and you're walking amongst Jesus and the disciples and whatnot. Like, this is really people's perception of heaven. Like, you either go in there to eat fruit and walk amongst the clouds in peace and harmony, you know, with the rest of the angels, or you'll be down in hell, burning in hell with Satan and his demons. Well, guess what, guys? Like I keep telling y'all, Satan and his demons is right here. You understand what I mean? Satan and his demons are right here on Earth. We're in this 3D realm. Okay.
Found his team, not his team, he was involved in a team and discovered 2 data banks which are inscribed with fine lines like a CD, and they have moving pictures and information on them that he was involved with a raid in Jarraba in 1959 to get 2 of these devices.
Oh, they were actually looking for them.
They were actually looking for them, and that's why they were bumping off so many people all around the Middle East at that time, 57, 58, 59.
Okay. They found them?
And they got 2 out of the 6.
So there's 4 still.
Well, there were 4 at that time in the hands of others, but they were able to recover them from what would have been an equivalent of a Bilderberger type meeting in 1959 in the Middle East, which was designed to, and 2 flying saucers took off and flew away. Big ones, huge things. And he went in, his raid was successful, they got them. But now they've got the use of these secrets and technologies, which is why we're having to tell all this stuff now.
Right, okay, I'm understanding, yeah. A lot of the information can be downloaded into crystals too. I think the crystal skulls, I'm going off track again, but the crystal skulls carry massive amounts of God mind information. If you can...
What's God mind?
I think so I'm thinking that might be the collective oversoul of this area of the universe. So if you could put all the information for all the technology that's necessary, all the information of the true galactic history, all the information of really what's gone on in the inner wars that's gone on, because this is just a massive, it's a prison planet, but it's an inner war constantly.
Okay, let's just get...
Okay, so, guys, Rudolf Steiner, okay, let me tell you about Rudolf Steiner. Rudolf Steiner was a Austrian occultist, okay? Where have we heard that name? Occultist, occult. Guys, the occult, you already know, they pretty much tied in with the secret societies. Back then, see, they wouldn't have necessarily called them the Illuminati and stuff back then. If they were, they tried to hide that stuff, but people that were involved in occultists and stuff like that, they had spiritual beliefs and things like that. These as much as we hate to admit it, they actually have been in the know. That's why they call themselves like Illuminati, the illuminated ones, because they feel like they know more about what, like the spirit and things like that and how everything works. That's why they so vested in taking your soul. Do you understand? They understand the value of your soul. A lot of people don't understand the value of their soul. Okay, I keep on telling y'all, the soul is a real thing. It's really important. It's something that you cannot put a price tag on. Okay, it's not worth anything that they offering you. Okay, your soul. Okay, let me get into this about Mr. Steiner though. Let me tell you about Mr. Steiner. Mr. Steiner was, like I said, he was an occultist, a philosopher. He was like very much embedded in like spiritual anthropology, anthroposophy, with roots in German and idealistic philosophy and theosophy. His ideas are largely pseudo-scientific. He was also prone to pseudo-history. Okay. What's significant about him, this is something he said back in like 100 years. It's like over 100 years ago, right? He said, in the future, we will eliminate the soul with medicine under the pretext of a healthy point of view. There will be a bleep, y'all know what I'm talking about, the walk, by which the human body will be treated as soon as possible, directly at birth, okay? So that the human being cannot develop thought of the existence of soul and spirit. Did y'all hear what I just said? In the future, I'm going to repeat it one more time. In the future, we will eliminate the soul with medicine They want to eliminate the soul with medicine. Okay? How can you eliminate the soul with medicine? How can you eliminate the soul? Okay? Where is the soul? Soul is within you. But where do you have to go to get to the soul? Why are we seeing these guys? Talk to me. Anyway, we will eliminate the soul with medicine under the pretext of a healthy point of view. There will be a bleep by which the human body will be treated as soon as possible, directly at birth, so that the human being cannot develop the thought of the existence of soul and spirit. That's powerful, guys. That is a powerful little passage right there. Let me finish. To materialistic doctors will be entrusted with the task of removing the soul of humanity. Wow. That's big, right? That's big. As today, people are bleeped against this disease or that disease, so in the future, children will be bleeped with a substance that can be produced precisely in such a way that people, thanks to this bleep, will be immune to being subjected to the madness of spiritual life. He or she would be extremely smart, but he would not develop a conscience, and that is the true goal of some materialistic circles. Would not develop a conscience. Conscience. Okay, they spelled it C-O-N-S-C-I-E-N-C-E. Okay, you see how they like to play on words, guys. You know that, right? They like to play on words. So that's what they're saying they want to do. They said that back 100. This was 100 years ago. Maybe a little over 100 years ago, because the dude was born in like 1861. Died in 1925. Supposedly, allegedly. Okay, now, what's also significant about this dude, this is something that they said about him. Okay, early experiences, spiritual experiences, important, right? When Rudolph was 9 years old, Steiner believed that he saw the spirit of an aunt who had died in a far-off town, asking him to help her at a time when neither he nor his family knew of the woman's death. Steiner later related that as a child, he felt that one must carry the knowledge of the spiritual world within oneself after the fashion of geometry. One is permitted to know something which the mind alone, though is through its own power, experiences. In this feeling, I found the justification for the spiritual world that I experienced. I confirmed for myself by means of geometry the feeling that I must speak of a world which is not seen. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? Okay. I just told y'all, guys. He said it was like he was 9 years old. Guys, when I was young, I used to have reoccurring dreams, okay? And I believe everybody is... Souls are infinite, okay? I had reoccurring dreams that like I lived a past life, like I had been here before, guys. Remember, like Dr. Delbert Blair said, some of us souls are here for this last battle. Some of us have chosen to come back here for this battle, for these times, okay? Now, who and what or where, that is unknown. The significance of the times we spent, we may not know those experiences off the... Okay, guys, so I know this video, I've been in and out, you know, different clips, different days, but there's a lot that's compacted together, but I'm gonna integrate this the best way I can, because, you know, as I'm researching and stuff, I'm finding more information that starts to make sense. And so I want to redistribute that to you guys in an eloquent way, to where you guys kind of get what I'm seeing and you can kind of see it for what you want as well. Okay, so one of the key things that I talked about before, guys, that I don't know if you guys caught it or not, but I told you, like, I have had when I was little, I told you when I was little, I had reoccurring dreams constantly. I had these reoccurring dreams that I was in some type of war and I was like killed on the battlefield. As far as I know, I was killed, because when it happened, then I died shortly after, or I woke up. Okay. So yeah, like I woke up directly after and I would have this reoccurring dream. It didn't make sense to me then, but it's starting to make sense now.
Roughly about 67 to 89, what they want to call indigo babies and souls were being born. The indigo children were those that had been killed, maimed, horribly slaughtered in wars. They were anxious to come back and get it on to do something about it. They came back to fight or flight. Flight meant they would take somebody else out with them or they're going to fight. They came back to get it on. What did they do? The Draconic souls who operate on a higher frequency in the main, the fourth dimension, knew this was going to happen. So they set traps for those souls. And when they came in and they knew they were here to fight them, they made them think they're supposed to fight an enemy over in Vietnam, an enemy over in Korea, an enemy in the Persian Gulf. Give them false analogies as to reasons for that to happen. And then they went off and they did what they wanted to fight. But they did not fight their enemy. They fight somebody that their enemy told them to go fight. Never realizing the mistake they'd made. And then, and I know people, a lot of the hip-hop guys are going to get pissed at this, I'm sorry. You know, they even fought the air. Talking back. Sure, when you have venom and unqualified channel energy release, you do it that way. But what are you doing? You're fighting the spirits of the air around you, the sylphs. You're fighting your own inner consciousness. You're fighting your own animal instinct and the animal brain that they put these on these bodies. What are you fighting? Why are you so angry? Directed anger can be much better used than through physical uses of it. That's what you call focused thought, whether it be for good or bad, it still works. But that way, they then put them in uniforms, told them they were all one, go fight a common enemy. The enemy was unseen, but they gave you a mortal enemy to fight. Now, that's past now. Because you see, you had those from those other empires being born into different bodies, and they had told the same thing. So then they had you fighting each other like children under reptilian control, and that's what we were. Now, you're having crystals being born. Whole different ball game now. The planet is going to higher frequency. So now these crystals can come in. They weren't fixing to come back in then because they're advanced souls. Now with these crystals, they're born with eyes wide open, with spines erect. They're born with knowledge and understanding and wisdom. They can work with animals and insects. They can work with vibrations of the air. They can work with fire, water, all the elements. And they can even work with the mothers while in the womb and the fathers out of the womb. They are a very advanced type of people. They're not here with hate. They're here to understand what makes for hate and how to change it to love. These are the children that now will be given the energies and powers that we say we want, but don't qualify for by our very actions. What are they doing to them? Trying to give them 7 shots at birth, including hepatitis C. Try to give them booster shots. Give them all the pharmaceutical, PHARM, okay? 7,000 pharmaceutical things in Merck's Index, United States Defense of Pharmaceutical Medicine. Give them all these drugs to lower their vibration, and even still give them half a chance. Their metabolism is such they will still try to get rid of those drugs. And what it's doing is slowing down the inevitable. The planet is going upward. These souls that are coming in are already in higher vibration. They will either help, or when they come together and really hinder, you haven't seen death and destruction yet. Not that they're killers, but they will bring forth through them the consciousness of higher authority, which will not set. You can't live 1 minute when this planet is going to the 5th dimension and you hold an evil thought. You automatically killed yourself or allow that to come in at will. So it's a change now in matter, in time, and in space. It's a change in consciousness, a change in subconsciousness, and a change in outer consciousness.
So yeah, guys, it was Delbert Blair who said that, like, certain children with certain type of souls that were born between something like I want to say 50 something to 89. Okay, I actually fall into that time frame. So that may be significant, man, because what he was saying as well was that certain souls volunteered to come back here to help. Okay, to help. All right, like, I didn't necessarily decide I was going to start doing what I'm doing, but for some reason I've been compelled to do it.
Who is they, and what can we do about it? What can others do about it? How can others do that?
I think a lot of volunteers have incarnated here into this stream of consciousness that we're in, this frequency that we're in right now. And but the thing is, they have every human being has an energy signature and a sound harmonic vibration and it's individual. When you come here, you're creating a sound frequency, they have complete tracking of all of those people.
This is what Google have publicly stated. You know,
this is targeted individuals.
Map.
This is why where targeted individuals come from. So they know you're coming before you're coming, and so you know, and that's the volunteers. I mean, one would assume that you are also that, and this is because you're opening up, you're shaking the system up, and so you're under attack, like we talked about when you got hit with that wrought iron gate that caused you all the problems that happened with you. The same thing, and a lot of the issues that I've had.
Ball, but we'll not talk about that right now. It was way beyond coincidence the way that happened.
Yeah.
So it's kind of odd. He said, like he said, like certain people are disrupting the system by what we're doing. Okay. And in my case, I'm basically trying to save souls in a sense. Okay, because I'm deterring souls from doing stuff that's going to basically keep them trapped here.
But what's the solution to this in terms of the rest of the so-called humans? You might want to survive and do something a bit more positive.
Right. I think that with the information and with the work that people like yourself and others are doing, if people on this planet are aligned with that higher frequency thinking, they're going to their higher self or their oversoul is going to make sure that they're in the right place at the right time, so they don't get wiped out. Because there are plans to do big wipeouts. I mean, the Georgia Guidestones,
exactly.
Unfortunately, is going to happen.
And they must have a technology to clean up the mess, though.
Right. They've got terraforming technology where they can reset, restart. They can make the trees grow in the desert. They have that technology very, very quickly.
One of the things I've just interviewed is a guy talking about some kind of cybernetic...
Guys, now, what Max Spears is saying, like, this is deep because I just touched on this in the other video. Remember I was saying, guys, that we're talking about spiritual discernment and being connected to your higher self and having that consciousness, okay, and being able to be touched by God and told like spiritually, okay. He basically hits on that. Like, what he's saying is that raising the frequency, raising the consciousness. He's like, those that are not supposed to be wiped out. You hear what he's saying? Those that is not supposed to be wiped out, their consciousness will be raised, and they'll make sure that they don't do the things that's gonna wipe them out.
But what's the solution to this in terms of the rest of the so-called humans? You might want to survive and do something a bit more positive.
Right. I think that with the information and with the work that people like yourself and others are doing, if people on this planet are aligned with that higher frequency thinking, they're going to their higher self or their oversoul is going to make sure that they're in the right place at the right time, so they don't get wiped out. Because there are plans to do big wipeouts. I mean, the Georgia Guidestones,
exactly.
Unfortunately is going to happen.
So, like, guys, this information is pivotal, it's critical, and it's dead on. It's dead on, guys. Like, you heard what he said. There's plans to do big wipeouts. Well, guys, what is one of the biggest possible wipeouts? All right? And then, like he said, he alluded to what? The Georgia Guidestones, man. Like, guys, I didn't need all of this information to already know that I was on point with what I have been saying. Like, this is just confirmation, but I was already saying all this. If you go back to my other video, I just said it. When people saying, well, where's God and all this, and why some people know and why some people don't. And I told you, you got touched, right? So you good. Everybody can't go to the fifth dimension. And then they both talking, like, between Delbert Blair and Max Spears, they both talking about the fifth dimension. And I keep telling y'all, fifth dimension is what? That's heaven, okay? However you want to interpret it, however you want to receive that information or perceive it, guys, that's what it is. The fifth dimension, you talk about living forever, eternity. Your soul will live eternally, but it will not live in this dimension on this realm. You see what I'm saying? So if you vibrate high, then you will no longer be trapped here. That's what they want to do, is keep you trapped here. So you can do what? Like Max Spears was just saying, and I mentioned it here too. Recycling over, reincarnating back into the same hell. Okay?
Down to summaries, what is the Earth? Who are we, and what is the whole point of life and death here? If you have that.
Yeah, that's all right.
We're all ETs, 7 billion of us are all not indigenous to this planet.
Absolutely,
we have 5 races.
More.
5 broad types, okay, fine.
I think that you've got something, I think 13 streams, 12, 13 streams
I mean, you've mentioned the Committee of 300.
Yeah. I'm not
John
talking about
Coleman
family. I'm not talking about bloodline families now. I'm talking about, they're always using 13 because it's a crucial number, crucial Kabbalistic number. And the letter M, or the number which is the 13th letter of the alphabet, or that is constant. That's why you have McDonald's M, constantly imprinting on your subconscious, that because 13 is the birth and death cycle. So keep coming back, keep coming back. You die, you come back again, you're coming back again. So most of us here are caught in a loop, in a cycle.
Mobius loop,
yeah,
like an infinity.
And over and over again, incarnating in similar lifetimes.
Is that related to the precession of the equinoxes, the way the Earth solar system and this part of space goes through this?
Sure.
This convoluted.
It reinforces it too when you see that. I mean, I think we talked about it yesterday. When you're seeing that, and the sun coming up and going down, and the whole system like that reinforces. You know, so it's a ritual in itself.
And that's another thing that I was telling y'all as well, man. I don't know if I mentioned it here before, but I remember, guys, like this was maybe like 10 years ago when I was really starting to like dig into like the spiritual stuff, and I remember I was researching online and stuff, and I stumbled across some information where people were talking about how people had managed, what they claimed to do, had managed to open up their pineal gland, right? So they had managed to open up their pineal gland, and they had did it by using some type of, I don't know if you guys heard of it before, but it's some type of humming or something like that. It's some type of vibration that with using like the roof of your mouth and your tongue or something, and like some kind of hymn or something like that. I don't know. I never did it. Okay, but I heard from, based off what the people were saying, I was reading all the comments and things between several different platforms where I found this information. And what they were saying is that some people were like, don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. Well, to my understanding, if you do that and you were not vibrating high, okay, if you're vibrating low and you open that portal, see, it's portals, guys. We talking about portals between here and the spiritual realm, here in the different dimensions, okay? So you open up them portals, just like it's no different than like using the Ouija board and stuff. Like people use the Ouija board, man. I know some bad things, but I don't want to get it. I could get into that because it kind of hinges on what's going on with this. But if you open those portals, guys, and you vibrating low, okay, then those dark entities and stuff that have been feeding on you will be visible. Okay, it's like putting on, it's the same thing. It's like putting on your 3D glasses. Okay, and now all of a sudden, or you put on your 4D glasses, and all of a sudden your pineal gland is open. Okay, because the vibration that you're seeing through the hymns that you're doing is supposed to pop the pineal gland, or basically to start to decalcify some kind of way through the vibration. I don't know. I haven't done this, guys. I just read a lot of comments where people actually said they experienced this, they did it, they know people that did it, and it was not good. Okay, now, was that some type of summons of spirits or something? I don't know. Okay, but what I was told, like I said, is that doing that will open up that pineal gland, to open up your spiritual eye. And if you do that, if you're vibrating low, if you're at a low frequency at that time, then that basically hell will be there for you at that time, and those dark entities will come out and they will consume you. They will follow you around. They will pretty much make you miserable. Okay, so I don't recommend that anybody do that. But if you do that, then you'll probably see some of those things that maybe some things from your past. I don't know, maybe some things from your ancestors, from family members or things like that, people that passed, loved ones or whatever. Okay, but I read up on this, and what it was saying was some of these people were trying to reach some of their loved ones that passed before. So this is how they figured out how to do it, and this is the stuff that happened behind it. So I do not recommend that anybody do that. Okay, I recommend that if you're gonna decalcify your pineal gland, great, but make sure that you're doing it the right way. Make sure that you righteous at the time, your heart is pure. Make sure you walking with God, walking with Jesus, and you're doing the right things. If you're not, then it's a good possibility that you will be pretty much opening up this spiritual realm for those dark spirits to come and get you. Okay, that's why I played this clip, so you could see basically kind of what happened to this dude that was in the movie. And you guys, they put this stuff in the movie. I tell you all the time, they put this stuff in the movie. It's in the movies. All right. See, guys, I find it just, rather ironic, or maybe it's a coincidence, but you got two different people from two different eras. Okay, Dr. Delbert Blair, he didn't pass away and so has Max Spears. Max Spears, believe, was to have been assassinated. Okay, it was a real crazy story about him. Some kind of way he filled up with some kind of black goo or some stuff, man. I don't know. That's another story for another time. But Delbert Blair passed away a while back, man. But these guys were probably, decades apart as far as age and everything, right? But they both have similar stories from different angles. Okay, but they basically saying the same thing. When you start talking to people that know what's going on in the spiritual world, that's been involved with some of these projects and things like that, you start finding out a lot more information than you will ever find out through the mainstream media and through the indoctrination that they doing through all the education systems and things that they got throughout this world. Okay, and that's something that Max Spears was talking about. I mean, he was hitting on the bloodlines, the 13 bloodlines and everything else, man. And you start putting all it together, it starts making sense. See, what I be trying to get across to you guys is that we can't take half the story and not take the other half. It's like people want to have selective beliefs about things and selective hearing, okay? And they want to say, oh, we believe this part, but we don't believe that part. But why can't we believe somebody until something they saying is discredited? Okay, people will believe everything. Like people will go, they'll be taking a walk and they'll stay at work until they basically dead and gone, right? So if people taking the walk and then they going and get turbo, they still believe them, right? And they ain't proved nothing right. But if somebody come out and tell you, hey, this is what's going on, boom, boom, they plan on doing this and doing that, you won't believe them. But they could have been right about everything else they've been saying up to that point. But you want to discredit them and label them a conspiracy theorist and everything else so that you don't have to believe the other part of what they've been saying. Okay, so Max Spears, man, I use a little piece. I used to use a lot of these guys early on, man, when I used to be talking to you guys. But Max Spears was talking about the 13 bloodlines. He's talking about the connection. He's talking about the royals, talking about everything they do from every different aspect. He broke that stuff down, guys. I can't emphasize that enough. He broke it down. So did Dr. Delbert Blair and some of these other so-called conspiracy theorists. Okay, but they've been spot on with everything they've been saying right now, even up until today's big event that we're dealing with right now. So I just wanted to point that out, guys, so everybody kind of get where I'm coming from with the information and knowing that, hey, it's a good possibility that there's some validity to what these guys be saying. But see, one of the crazy things is with that is that was my vision, man, that's why I really been on this journey, man, to try to figure out what the situation was, because like I said, I used to have those recurring dreams or nightmares, whatever you want to call it, and I was being killed. And he's talking about how they basically, the people that died then were sent off to like fight in a war. And he was like a Vietnam War or something like that, which would coincide with what my dream was, which was me being turned over after being lying on the battlefield and somebody shoot me, and it was like an Asian or a Vietnamese person. So I don't know, guys. I'm just telling you, this has been me. There might have been pieces of my past life. I don't know, But I do believe, like I keep telling you, I believe that we are reincarnated here over and over again. This is hell. God knows about this. It doesn't mean there's no heaven and hell, and you can't. It ain't that you can't believe in reincarnation and believe in God. You can believe in both because they are both in the same. Okay, just like I tell you, the aliens and the Dracos and the demons, they one in the same. We keep on trying to break it up and piece it up into the religion that we want it to be. And that's not necessarily the case, because they all really coincide when you look at it. Okay, just like we talking about the beings and stuff, and we talking about, well, why are they trying to, you know, put these certain things in us and everything else like that? Are they trying to put a demon in you? Okay, or are they trying to put some kind of life form from somewhere else? You see what I'm saying? All right, guys. So, man, I done went back and forth on this video. Guys, believe it or not, I done recorded this video like 3 times now. Okay. And I got so many different clips and stuff. But I've been trying to make sure I get this message across clearly as possible. Okay? Guys, we dealing with, I want to make sure I'm hitting off where we left off. We dealing with spirit, we dealing with soul, guys. What I've been emphasizing to you guys is how important the soul is, how important the spirit is, how they're trying to snatch people's souls. Okay, they are really snatching souls, guys. Like, I can't emphasize this enough. I can't reiterate this enough. They are snatching people's souls. Okay, snatching people's souls is also making sure that they're not able to connect to the spiritual realm. Okay, if you can't connect to the spiritual realm, you have no soul. You have no spirit. Okay, you are disconnected from your higher self. All right, I can't make that more clear. Like Rudolf Steiner was saying, they were working on methods to disconnect you from your higher self. Where have we seen that before? Okay, so you see, there's a connection there to what they're trying to do, and all of a sudden, everybody needs to do something to, you know, make sure that they remain healthy, right? What did he say? Right? Okay. Something key, guys. If you watch my videos from before, I did a piece on Travis Scott. Okay, I did a piece on Travis Scott. Now, y'all, a lot of y'all might remember, not just Travis Scott. It was a Pearl Jam. Pearl Jam also had something, guys. They do these things, like I say, guys. These are ritualistic things. Ritualistic. Okay, Travis Scott, he had the concert where all the people died. Remember? And people felt like, oh, they was sucking people's souls right up out of there. That's why they make this music, guys. They had an artist sell their souls. This is where I started, guys. My video started with this type of stuff, this type of material. And I just kind of matured and evolved into what we're at today, because everything that's gone on with the plan, with the plan, But with Travis Scott, guys, he sold his soul. Make no mistake about it. Now, he's required to bring souls to Satan, to bring souls, keep souls grounded here, to make sure everybody vibrating low. All right, that's what they aim to do. Remember when he had the concert, man, people was like, they felt like their souls was being snatched. They had this evil stuff going on and everything. I gotta find it. I gotta put it in this video.
But we do want to begin with that horrible news coming to us out of Houston, Texas. Today, at least 8 people are dead, many others injured, after what officials describe as a crowd surge at the Astroworld Music Festival.
That caused some panic, and it started causing some injuries. People began to fall out, become unconscious, and it created additional panic.
Now, these are just some of the latest images coming into our newsroom as they show an ambulance and first responders in the midst of a sea of people as they care for those who were crushed in that huge surge. Now, for the very latest, let's go to Ottawa and bring in the CBC's Hillary Johnstone.
Officials in Houston, Texas say that they declared a mass casualty event shortly after 9:30 local time on Friday evening when they started to realize just how many people had been injured and killed. They said sometime around 9 or 9:15, the crowd started to push towards the stage. They say that some people became unconscious, that some people went into cardiac arrest, and that caused people to panic and continue to push towards the stage even more. As a result, a number of people killed. At least 300 people were treated at field hospitals on the site. And we know from some eyewitnesses that the crowd was densely packed. It was a sold-out crowd of 50,000 people. Here's what one person said.
It felt like we was in a concert in hell. You couldn't breathe. You couldn't see. Like, just imagine all the people they're going to find tonight who was in that crowd, who nobody could see, who nobody could hear, who passed out. In the VIP section, it was so many bodies laid out. People was getting pulled out who was fainted. And the medics were trying to give them CPR, and they was flipping them over, and like they was literally turning black and blue. People were screaming help, trying to tell Travis Scott. They was like, help. The whole crowd was just going like, help, help, help. And he just kept going, bro.
Now, other people who were sharing their experience on social media describe a crowd that was so densely packed that if your arms were up in the air, you wouldn't have been able to put them back down. That's how many people were there. And we also know from some eyewitnesses, including that one you just heard from, that they were trying to make sure that event organizers were aware of what was happening, aware of the fact that people were in distress. Now, the rapper Travis Scott, who was on stage at the time that all of this happened, he also tried to calm things down when he started to see ambulances coming through the crowd. Let's listen to him.
Just play it slowly. We need somebody to help him. Somebody passed out right here. Somebody passed out right here. Hold on, don't touch him, don't touch him. Everybody just back up.
Now, today we've heard from the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott. He called this incident tragic. We've also heard from the mayor of Houston, who said that this event was supposed to bring people together. Of course, it's had a really upsetting outcome. We also know that the rest of the events that are part of this Astroworld Music Festival for today have now been canceled, so that these organizers can cooperate with law enforcement. We know from officials in Texas that they're still not sure why this crowd started to push towards the stage. They also say that they're not sure yet what the cause of death was for some of these people who died. They say that the medical examiner is still looking into all of this, but a really tragic day, tragic evening in Houston, Texas. Hillary Johnstone, CBC News, Ottawa.
To talk about my experience at Astrofest. It is extremely traumatizing. I've never experienced anything like that in my entire life. Probably because I've never been surrounded by so many lifeless bodies. I haven't been able to stop thinking about what was happening all around me. It was so demonic. The energy was so demonic. The set was demonic. Travis was demonic. We were literally in hell. Like, it felt like we were in hell. Nobody could breathe. We were all suffocating. Everybody around me was suffocating. We were standing on our tiptoes, and all you see is everyone around you, chins up, gasping for air, and that's all you see around you. There was no room for mosh pits. There was no room to breathe. We couldn't even breathe. We didn't even have enough room. Like, I'm sore. Like this hurts to take a deep breath today. Like, we couldn't even breathe in there because everyone's bodies were literally suffocating us. Suffocating us so bad that people were bleeding out of their mouths and their nose. People were screaming bloody murder, literally, begging for help from anybody. There was nothing that anybody could do. The floors were covered in bodies. You're doing your very best. We're fighting for our fucking lives. We're doing our very best to stay up. You couldn't even put your foot on the ground. You're stepping over other people. You're stepping over other people's shoes, just trying to fucking breathe. I'm surrounded by unconscious bodies. I don't even know if these people were alive. There's just people all around you with their eyes rolled in the back of their heads, just being moved with the crowds. There was nowhere we could go. We were trying to push back. We're trying to push back to get out, and we're just getting pushed forward. We're just getting pushed deeper into the crowd. There's sinkholes of people in the crowds all around me. Like, if I would have hit the floor, I would have never gotten up. You can see like adults holding their children up, like trying to get them to safety. There's kids like pissing and shitting themselves as a trauma response. Like imagine going to your first concert and like this is how you think like concerts are. Like it took us 30 minutes to get out of the crowd and we were in the back. As we finally get out, you just see people running out, bawling, lips blue. There's people, they're dragging dead bodies out of the crowd. Dead bodies. And Travis knew. Travis had a bird's eye view on everybody and could see everything. He was asked multiple times to stop, and his responses are, you know what you were here for, something like that, and let's rage. The only reason we got out was because there was mobs of people, like, all linked up, like, in literal mobs, like, moving together to get out. And half the people that were in this little mob with me, is that what I'm calling it, were unconscious. So, yeah, that's how we got out. As soon as I literally could move just my arms, I took off fucking running. I ran all the way to the back where there was no fucking people. Not to mention that through this mob of people I was with, it still took us about 2.5 songs to get out still. And there was literally somebody at the front of our line, like, full on, fist up, huge ass dude, swinging on people, like, literally, like, coming at people, like, get out of our way. There's people unconscious, like, they're dying, like, it was so bad. I could go on forever talking about what I think was going on, what I felt, what was going on actually, like, the news is lying. They're lying. The amount of people that I saw dead was more than what they said. The amount, like, other people are out here, like, explaining their own experiences with the different people they saw. Like, it was everywhere. There was dead people everywhere, just getting carried out, just like they're gone. I wouldn't believe literally anything the news says. There's no way that they can come out and say 100 people died. Someone themselves literally saw 100 dead people. Like, there was bodies lined up everywhere. There's CPR being done in the crowds. It looks like what would be a mosh pit. There's no room for mosh pits. There's only room for the 8 people on the ground that are dead having CPR done. Those were our mosh pits. Our mosh pits were us dying. I picked up no subliminal messages from the website, the tickets. I didn't look. I didn't see. I wasn't paying attention. But now that I go back and I look at the flyer and I look at everything that I was around in the set, it's absolutely disgusting. We were literally being sucked into that spiraling hole of death that was portrayed in front of us. We're all suffocating, dying, and on the screen it reads, "See you on the other side," along with all the Illuminati symbols and the praying hand literally sucking our energy from us. I am 100% convinced that this was literally like an energy harvest. Like, this was literally like a satanic ritual. Travis Scott was snatching souls, literally snatching people's souls. I don't even want to know who was forgotten about in there. Who couldn't be heard? Who couldn't be helped? Like, when the people moved out, like when the concert was over, like, I want to know how many people were laying on that floor still. Because it wasn't 8 people. It wasn't 8 people. It wasn't just 8 people dead. There wasn't just 100 injured. There's probably hundreds dead and thousands injured. I have grown up on Travis Scott, #1 artist. Loved him. I've been to multiple of his concerts before he was even fucking Travis Scott. I've never experienced something like this. That man is done.
Okay, so you see that now. Look at Travis Scott. Check it out, guys. Now, I can't emphasize stuff enough about what's going on. Check out Travis Scott's album cover from before. Now, look at it. Look at the significance of what it's saying on this album cover. All right? Okay, so, guys, this was a little, it's like some kind of news little piece that it evolved around Travis Scott, right? So, it reads, "The true dystopia is here." Okay? The Weekly World Truths said, "Who knows what lies beneath the surface?" And it's literally got a Draco like reptilian type of creature. Okay? And it says, "When the end arrives, it's really the beginning."
Yeah, I mean, the ones that are running it now are ancient, though. You got to know that ancient force. Okay. The Dracos are old. There are ones above. They were created too. Yeah. I mean, they're not even from the Draco. Not even from this star system at all. They were placed here to cause havoc, to be the polarity, to be the dark or the shadow, so that when there has to, it's you know.
He got these songs, man, talking about we gonna take over the world and all this stuff like that, man. Like, I'll be trying to tell y'all, these artists know what's going on. They're directly involved with it. They signed the oath in blood, man. They signed the oath in blood. Travis Scott is no different. He's no different, guys. They basically telling you right there, the true dystopia is here, right? When the end arrives, it really is the beginning. Okay? The beginning of the hell that they trying to create. Who knows what lies beneath the surface? And they got this creature thing. You see what's going on, guys? And what was he doing? So these creatures, what I'm trying to explain to y'all is these creatures, these things, these beings that's been telling you, like the videos I was putting up before, guys, the creatures, the things that was on the news and stuff, they were the ones that telling you to take the walk. Okay? Why? Because they want to entrap your soul, your spirit. Okay? If they give you, and that's why I say, guys, if you take the walk, it pretty much disconnects you from your soul. All right? Those that have taken the walk are disconnected. All right? Those that, and many that took the walk to begin with were already disconnected, okay, from their consciousness. They didn't have the consciousness to have the discernment, the spiritual discernment to know, hey, I shouldn't do that. Right? Because why did they have that problem? Because they have been vibrating low. They've been vibrating at a very low frequency, and that's the job of artists like Travis Scott and these other artists that tell it's all about sex and drugs and alcohol and negativity, pornography, all these different things that they push and promote to make sure that you are disconnected from your spirit, from your righteous walk. Okay, in order to keep you from being able to ascend. Does that make sense? Okay, and so this is like right in your face, plain as day. The connection between the two, the connection as far as the spirit world, them trying to snatch souls, keeping you vibrating low with this music, this very low frequency music that he's putting out. And talking about the beings that's here, what lies beneath the surface. Guys, they putting it right in your face. Okay, we know what's beneath the surface. Must I remind you what Alex Collier was saying? This is what we dealing with, man. So I just wanted to put that together so y'all can kind of see. And I talked a lot about the hell and everything. Everybody's got their own perception of hell. People think, in their minds, they think, oh, just like I said in the video before, like, if God's talking to you, okay, if he's going to touch you, he's going to touch you, and you're going to have a spiritual discernment. You're going to have that connection. God's going to tell you what you should and should not be doing. That's how you know not to take the walk. Okay, you looking around like, why did this person take a walk? Why did my family members, why they do that, this, that, and the other? Remember, guys, in the rapture and stuff like that that's supposed to happen, people, family members and friends and loved ones was going to be dropping right next to you. Okay, right next to you. They're going to be dropping. Family members and loved ones, family members that you love so dearly. You think that they supposed to go ahead? Everybody's always talking about when somebody died. Oh, my Aunt Susie died. We'll see her in heaven. No, it just don't work like that. And, you know, I wish it did. I wish everybody in the whole world went to heaven. Just like I told y'all that the whole thing about people saying, oh, God loves everybody, all his children, we all his children, God loves everybody. Guys, cut the crap. God do not love evil people, okay? And he's not taking Jeffrey Dahmer to heaven, okay? And he's vibrating low. He ate flesh. Like, you guys got to get, but we got to get besides the BS, man. And that's what I'm trying to get y'all to understand. Those are some of the things, guys, that's been misconceived or misinterpreted. And that's the stuff that, like I said, some of the things in the Bible are misleading and make people believe certain things that ain't necessarily true. Okay, so people think like oh, Jeffrey Dahmer and the Faucis and stuff, like they're just gonna go to heaven. Guys, they literally worship Satan. Okay, I can't emphasize that enough. And once you decide to worship Satan and you taking that route, that's what you are. That's what you gonna do. Okay, you have somewhere you going, but it ain't to the fifth dimension. You will rule here on this 3D realm, this world. Okay, and that's the life and the choices them folks that made. All right, so no, they're not going. But what I was trying to, that people like that have been chosen to rule this world, rule this dimension, guys. They are perfectly fine with that. That's what they want to do. They have an obligation. They have a oath that they've signed that they got to uphold, and that's what they doing. That's what they doing, and that's to drag souls down into this realm and keep them recycling back and forth into this world, into this realm, so they can continue to be slaves. Okay, that's why, guys. That's why they wanted to do this. Because if you look at it, like I said, the whole rapture thing. If folks are supposed to get raptured out or whatever, people are expecting things. People always expect a visual thing. But if it's a rapture in the spiritual world, are you going to see people just dropping? Like, what are you going to see? If it's the Walking Dead, and we talking about on the spiritual level, is it going to be people actually walking around like zombies, or are they going to be zombies because their minds are gone? Their consciousness, their spiritual connection. What makes you alive is your soul. Without your soul, you're just a vessel. You understand what I mean? So it's a lot of different angles that you gotta look at this, man. But the key notes that I wanted to point out to you guys is that the soul is infinite. Okay, we understand that. For many, the soul has been being tampered with for a long time. So they've been keeping people. They've been keeping people from reaching that state of consciousness that they needed to in order for them to ascend. Okay, once your consciousness is where it's supposed to be, then you ascend. Mentally, your mind, your soul, your body, your spirit is ascending in itself. Okay, so you're no longer being held captive in this realm. So when you pass away, your soul does not have to come back here. Okay. Your soul is not, you're not enslaved here. Do you understand what I mean? So those that do pass away, like I said, those that have taken a walk and everything, man, that's what that was meant to do. Okay, it was meant to keep their souls and stuff stuck here on this, in this 3D realm. Why, for the others like us, man, shoot, we free to fly. We free to fly. We know, we saw the warning signs. We was able to avoid this, this nefarious, catastrophic event. All right, that's really taking this whole world by storm. Like, people always say, you probably heard it over your lifetime, like, get right with God, get right with Jesus and stuff. Yeah, walk the righteous walk, so that when you pass, you will not be relegated back to this realm. Okay, you will be able to, they talk about you'll go to heaven. Okay, if that's what you want to call it, you'll go to heaven. But you will not come back to this mud. Okay, you will not come back to this 3D realm. You will be set free. Okay, but if you don't get right, and the time comes, like right now, the time has come, and you ain't get right, guess what? You missed the calling. You missed the calling. God's calling his saints and everything else. What you got? You got folks in the church that's being misled, but if you was really walking with God, then he would have been able to touch you. You know, if you was really righteous, walking that righteous walk, you would have known better. You would have been able to see. You would have had faith in God, and that God gave you a very complete, you know, system, immune system. You understand what I'm saying? And you would know, hey, I don't need to do this, that, and the other, because you know what? God got me. You understand? God got me. And if it's time for me to go, at least if I go, then I know I won't be coming back, because I ain't going and letting y'all get a hold of my soul. You see what I'm saying? So that's why, man, like, they have people selling their soul. They got people dragging souls down with them. And people like us, what are we trying to do? We trying to save souls. We trying to save people. That's what we've been trying to do, right? So you look at our position, man, and like God said, witness and everything to people. Save people, help save people, bring people to the Savior, okay? The Savior is your consciousness in itself, okay? If you're conscious, then you'll be saved. We saved, right? But those of us that lack the consciousness and lack the spiritual discernment and stuff, hey, you fell victim to the flesh, okay? You believed in or you heard from, listen, like Adam and Eve in the Bible, what they do? They listen to who? The snake, okay? They listened to the snake and told them to eat the apple. What happened to them when they ate the apple? You see, they became fleshly. They understood the flesh. Like, I'm naked. My flesh is not covered. You understand what I'm saying? But before that, they wasn't worried about all that because they was here spiritually. You see what I'm saying? But once they listened to Satan and he told them then to eat this apple, what did he put in that apple? Y'all see what I'm saying? So he told them they could become godlike, but he robbed them. You see, he robbed them of their godlike features, which God said Christ made us in the image of him, which we made us like godlike, right? So Satan came and told you, hey, you could be godlike if you do this. And he robbed them. Okay, they became more earthly. They became stuck and relegated to this realm when they did that. So you got to reinterpret the Bible as it's supposed to be interpreted. People don't grasp these concepts the way they need to. And that's what I believe happened. Now, who we have now? I showed you there's devils or reptiles or reptilians, whatever, telling you to take the walk. And what is that going to do? It's going to what? They telling you, oh, you'll have forever natural great health, right? But what does it really do? It disconnects you from what? Your soul, your godlike abilities, your spirit man, your spiritual connection to the Most High.
I mean, the Russians have been trying to, in that area, been trying to teach new children, you know, how to live in a higher consciousness way, and it's been under attack. If one reads the 8 books by I think a man Meg Ray. Yeah. How do we make that happen? How do we survive? How do we survive this?
I think.
Is there a solution? Or do you have a solution?
I mean, yeah. I mean, well, I think what you're saying is right in terms of, like, obviously you wanna get hold of the children, and they're the ones who are going to kind of create the new kind of thought forms and the new consciousness here. But it's very difficult to do it outright like that, because they have control of that. Anything to do with any of the system, the external system, that's education system, law system, all the systems are all inverted. So it's very difficult. I think this has to be collapsed before. This has to all go down.
I mean, this is something the Black Goose talked about, solving.
It's going to reset. We're like at a reset.
Reset
point.
All life on the earth.
Yeah, like the DVD has come to the end, and it's going to restart again. But we've got to this has to end first, because you can't create a new thought structure, which is a new education system, in the present state that the world's in. It won't work.
This is something which Mary Rodwell's talking about in great detail. The new children, the new higher children, the DNA is changing. Yeah. But in the education system globally, seems to be designed to attack them, totally, shut them down, or create them into hyperactive children. They must be ill. They must
Right,
be wrong
giving
with
them
medications.
medications.
You medicate them back to...
Well, these medications are shutting down anybody who is sensitive, anybody who has those like high gifts. The stimulants that they give them.
So in many respects, Sarah's life being shut away
was a very good way to stop her doing what she was came here to do. Absolutely, and they did do a pretty good job of shutting her down, and they can't anymore. But they you know, and it's not going to plan. I don't feel, for what they had.
You see what it does, and then once you pass away, guess what? You continue to be reincarnated back into this realm. Okay. So you don't fly amongst the clouds or amongst the angels. You don't go to the next dimension. You stuck here. Your soul is constantly in this cycle. Y'all see how that works? So, and lo and behold, same thing. It's a talking snake then, and guess what? We got talking snakes now. And they pushing the same thing. That's why they wrapped around the logo. Y'all see what I'm saying, guys? Man, this stuff get deep, man. It get deep, but once you really break it down, man, you really can kind of see how this stuff is really set up. You can really see how it's really set up. But that's the big thing, man. Like, you know, you like I know I was talking to somebody today, and they was talking about how they you know, they felt bad because most of their family took it, and most of their family, you know, took that walk or whatnot, and they didn't want to believe that, you know, this could be happening. But as quiet as kept, guys, people had the warnings and stuff like that. People that did not know and could not understand it, guys, chances are they've been dead a long time. They already been dead. And those that did go ahead and take it or whatever, take that walk, man, they didn't put themselves in a very compromising position. At this point, they put themselves in a compromising position. If they was walking a righteous walk and they really had faith in God, then think about it. If you have faith in God, do you need to hear from man? Is man, you gonna allow man? That's why I told you too, man. Man then touched the Bible and did stuff to it to only further deceive people. Okay, this is deception. Just like I told you guys, there's been deception in the news. There's been a deception in the news articles from the past. They always have used the methods and things that they've had at their disposal to mislead people. Okay, to influence you to do the opposite or do the wrong thing. Like a lot of stuff in the Bible has been inverted. Okay, we know that, and it's been done that way for a reason. A lot of the certain chapters and things have been taken out. Why? To mislead you, man. To mislead you. And quiet as kept, man, if you don't have a spiritual connection or spiritual discernment, you're not going to notice that inversion. You're not going to be able to interpret things the way that you need to. Okay? So that's a major piece, man, to a lot of this, man. And I think a lot of people, man, we get so caught up in trying to take the Bible word for word, like, and not do our own research, our own digging around and putting things together. Okay, just like we was talking about the story with Noah and everything, man. You talk about the story with Noah, whether you want to know, admit it or not, that was a reset, and that one was very well orchestrated by the Most High. Okay, it didn't say, oh, you know, he took out all the people and reset the earth or whatever, but basically that's what it was. And if you look at it, like, yeah, that's what happened. Okay, and there's been others since then. Everything that happens does not make the Bible. Just like people get shot and killed every day, it don't make the news. You see what I'm saying? The Bible has been every bit of the living journal newspaper from back then to today. It was scriptive writings that was put together from back then, man. Okay, so we have to look at that stuff, man. We have to look at that stuff, and we have to dissect it and piece it back together with the information that we're able to establish ourselves, as well as what we've learned over the years, and also the biblical aspect of it, and how it pertains to what we're going through right now. Okay, so I think I put a lot of stuff out there, put a lot of stuff together, man. Like I said, I didn't piece this video because I had a lot of different sections, and I've been like recording it, and I cut it, and I had to come back. So sometimes that stuff can kind of get lost in my train of thought, man, and stuff like, a lot of times stuff just be coming to me, and I can't just, you know, reestablish that train of thought as soon as I sit back down. So hopefully I can piece this together for you the best I can, so it makes sense. But I think we pretty much, you know, hit some pretty heavy points. So I'm gonna wrap this up. I want to thank everybody that's been coming to the premieres, everybody that's been submitting information, man. I get emails, I get text messages, I get comments, man. I can't, guys, I wish I could respond to everything, but if I responded to everything and talked to everybody, man, I would not have a life. Okay, so I try to, man, but I really don't have time to get to everything. If I can, I know some people, I told them I was going to contact them, and I'm going to get to you. I'm going to try diligently, man. Make sure you guys got my Twitter, man. My Twitter, I put that in the comments, in the description box. Make sure y'all in the Telegram. Best way to reach me, man. Also, Miss Black Barbie, she usually gets messages to me because she filters through that stuff. She tends to go through it and pulls out important stuff if she can. It'd be too much sometimes for her too, so it can be overwhelming. But I do want to thank everybody that's donated, man. I have received donations and things from people, man, that have looked out, like I said, through the kindness of their heart. Much appreciated. I don't do it for the donations, make no mistake about it, but it's always much appreciated when people do donate, to show that they acknowledge the work and effort that you put in, and just, you know, common decency to be, hey, thanks. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that, man, and y'all do inspire me as well and motivate me to put more stuff out. Even the people that's leaving comments like, hey, you know, I'm from the UK, I'm from Canada, or I'm over here in Beijing, and like, I get messages from so many different people from so many different walks of life, man, which is really awesome. I appreciate you guys, man, and I do it for you guys. Make sure I get the information and message out. Like I said, this is my perspective, you know, whether it's my calling to do, I don't know. Maybe it is, man. I'll tell you this, guys, and I'm gonna leave on this note. Like, a lot of you don't know my first name, and I don't put my information all out there like that. But I will tell you this, and you guys can make what you want of it, okay? But my first name, like, the actual meaning is the fire of God, which is interesting, right? Fire of God. Now, maybe that's because maybe I'm being used as a messenger for him. I don't know. Maybe I am. I'm not saying that I am. I'm not saying that I'm not. But if that's the case, then what I'm doing is supposed to be done, and I'm fine with that. Okay? But I never asked or wanted to be a pastor or anything like that. I know my mom said I would be a pastor. So that's not what I want to do. That's not the road that I had planned to take or nothing like that. So, and I don't consider myself a pastor. I just consider myself as a messenger, man, that's relaying information that comes to me that I feel is important. How I perceive things may not be the same as how you perceive it, and that's fine. And I know it's other people that have different ideas and ideologies about stuff, and I'm cool with that. You know, I don't discourage people from having open thought. I believe we all should have open thought. Just like I say, we don't know who's a good guy, who's a bad guy. So any intel coming in, guys, we got to dissect it. Because the only people I believe in and trust in is God. And the people that are around me that's trying to fight for the truth, that's all that's important. Okay, whether we black, white, Mexican, Indian, it does not matter at the end of the day. We have a bigger enemy, a bigger fish to fry. All right, and we all trying to find the same the same keys and same information, man. So anyway, this video's been long enough. Y'all be safe. I'll catch you on the next video.
There are pockets of resistance all around the planet. We've been fighting a long time. If you're listening to this, you are not alone. You are the resistance.